I'm going to show you how to file your homestead exemption in Denton County, Texas. Also, wait until the end for clarification about tax protests. But first, what is a homestead? A homestead is a residence that is owned by an individual, a married couple, or a trust. It cannot be owned by a business, and it cannot be an investment property. It needs to be your primary residence. What is a homestead exemption? It's a tax rebate on the appraised value of your home. In other words, with a homestead exemption, you get to lower the property taxes on your primary residence. How much is a homestead exemption? For many years, it was $25,000. In 2022, it was raised to $40,000. And in 2023, it was raised to $100,000. So if your assessed value is $500,000, you'll only pay taxes on $400,000. Also, the homestead exemption makes sure that your property taxes cannot be raised by more than 10% per year, which can be helpful when we experience a high appreciation year. If you're over 65 years of age or a disabled person, meaning you qualify to receive disability from the Social Security Administration, you can receive an additional exemption from school district taxes. If you're over 65 years of age and qualify as a disabled person, you have to choose either the over 65 or the disabled exemption. Being over 65 also qualifies you for a tax ceiling on the school district taxes for your property, meaning that they cannot increase while you're in the home, and you can transfer that ceiling to your next homestead. When should you file? Typically, the deadline is April 30th of this year to apply for last year. However, you can file a late exemption up to 2 years later. What do you need in order to file? You need a driver's license that shows the current address for that homestead. So if you just bought the home, update your driver's license with the new address first, then apply for the homestead. And if 2 people are on the deed, you need both people to update your driver's licenses. Before I go any further, please like this video if you find it helpful, subscribe if you'd like more practical real estate content like this, comment below if you'd like clarification on anything, or if you'd like for me to make a video about another real estate topic. And if you want to contact me directly, my information is in the description below. Let's talk about how to file for that homestead exemption. Okay, Denton County is great because they make it really easy to file online. All you have to do is Google Denton County CAD, C-A-D. That stands for Central Appraisal District. Click on the home site, and then for a CAD website, this actually looks really great. Forms and exemptions, click View Now. Go to Homeowners, Homestead Exemption, and then we just fill out this form right here online. The district name is Denton. Are you filing a late application? If you are, click yes and put the year that you would like to retroactively file for. If not, click no and then click either the current year or the previous year, depending on when you're filing. If you're filing between January and April, put the previous year. If you're filing between April and December, then put the current year. Appraisal district account number, you don't have to put that. That's why it says if known, you can skip it. Do you live in the property for which you are seeking this residence homestead exemption? I would hope yes, otherwise they're not going to give you this exemption. For most of you, you're going to check General Residence Homestead Exemption. If you're also filing for persons 65 or older, you can click here. If you qualify for disability through Social Security Administration, you can click here. If you're a disabled veteran, you can click here. There's lots of opportunities to get exemptions. For most of you, it'll be this first one. And then, do you have exclusive right to occupy this property because you own stock in a co-op? Co-ops are much more common in Manhattan, New York than they are here, so for most of you, that's going to be a no. Were you receiving a residence homestead exemption on your previous residence? If you were, you can click yes. If you are moving within Denton County, they will do it for you automatically. So if you're moving from Flower Mound to Denton, they're going to take care of this automatically. If you're moving from Austin to Flower Mound, then you will need to call up Travis County Central Appraisal District, let them know you want to remove the homestead from your previous residence, and then have them send you an email saying that yes, you would like to remove that homestead. You'll print off that email and attach it when you file for your homestead here. But if you don't have a previous homestead, then you can click no. Are you transferring an exemption from a previous residence? Same thing. If you are, yes. If not, no. And again, if you are, then you'll need that email printed out from the other county. Are you transferring a tax limitation? If you're 65 or older, you qualify for a tax ceiling on the school district taxes that you pay, and you can transfer that from one house to another. If you are transferring, click yes. If not, no. And then you put your previous residence here and your previous county here. If you're filing as a single adult, you click here and then put your information here. As a married couple, you'll click there and then put your information here, and then email address, and then put your spouse's information here. And then when it says percent ownership interest, if you're married, 100%. You both own 100% of that property. Property information, date you acquired the property. This would be your closing date when you purchased the property. Date you began occupying this property as your principal residence. Maybe you closed on the property November 1st, but then there was a 30-day lease back. You didn't move in until December 1st or whatever the case may be. You would put the date that you started occupying it as your principal residence. Also, perhaps you bought this property. It's one of 5 properties that you own. It was once an investment property, but now you're going to move into it as your homestead. This would be the date that you bought it as an investment property. This would be the date that you moved into it. For most of you, this will be the same date. You closed on it, you moved in. Okay, and so those will be the same. And then you put the address, legal description, don't worry about it. It says if known, that means you don't have to know it. And then, is the applicant identified on deed or other recorded instrument? I would hope so. I would hope that you are on the deed. If not, you're probably going to run into problems with this homestead exemption. All right, but yes, and then court record filing number. You can either go to your deed and find that number, or I can tell you from personal experience, if you leave this blank, the homestead goes through just fine. All right. Is the property for which this application is submitted an heir property? All right. If it is, I'm going to go ahead and recommend that you contact a real estate attorney. I've recommended one in the description below. Hopefully there aren't multiple heirs involved. Hopefully this is your property that you own outright. Manufactured home. All right. For these next several sections, most of you are going to click no here. Is any portion of the property for which you are claiming residence homestead exemption income producing? If your residence is not producing corn or some other agricultural product, then you would click no here. Again, this is not legal advice, but if you're not producing any kind of agricultural income, then it's not an income producing house. Now, if you are, let's say you own 5 acres and 4 of those acres are producing corn that you're selling, then you would put, hey, 80%. 80% is producing agricultural, and you'd say 4 acres, right? Just to let the county know. Now, if you're not selling corn, then you would just click no. And because you're likely going to be identifying yourself by your driver's license, you won't be clicking any of these. Now, if you don't have a driver's license, you can check to see if any of these apply to you. And then again, likely you're not going to put anything here, except if you own other residential property in Texas, please list the counties of location. So if you do own multiple properties, put those counties here, and then you will sign. This is owner. Your title is owner. You'll sign here, date here, and then they make it really easy here. Okay, submit them here. All right, so you can print that out, actually sign it by hand, or if you have a way of doing DocuSign, or if you'd like for me to send you a dot loop where you can sign it that way, I'm happy to do that. Just comment below. I'll do that for you. Put your name, email address, phone number, exemption forms, and then property address right here. Owner ID is homestead, and then owner ID and property ID. Okay, how are you going to get that information? You know your address, I would hope. But to get owner ID and property ID, what you do is you go to the home page and you click on property search. Okay, and so you can search by address. Go here, put the street number, put the street name. You can go by owner if you'd like to put your name. Usually this is the easiest. Okay, back to the submission form. Once you found your owner ID, you put it here, property ID here, property address. And then this is so great. This is one of the only CAD websites around here that does this. Just put the file on your computer. So print it out, scan it with a PDF app, or scan it through your printer, scan it with a scanner at work, however you need to do it. Scan it, put it on your computer, and then choose the file for the form that you just filled out, your driver's license, your spouse's driver's license if there's 2 people on the title, and then if you need to print off email documentation showing that you are transferring your homestead from a different county to a homestead in this county, you would also print that off there. And then you got to prove that you're not a robot and then submit the request. Okay, regarding tax protests, remember that there's a difference between your market value and your assessed value. You're going to get an appraisal notice in the mail from the county. When you receive it, you'll see the market value and the appraised value. The market value is what the county believes your house could sell for currently. The assessed value is the amount at which they have valued the house for the previous tax year. The assessed value is the amount on which you're going to be taxed, and that's the amount that will be reduced by $100K when you file for your homestead exemption. So why do they show you the market value and the assessed value? They want to show you that the market value is higher than the assessed value as a way of discouraging you from protesting that assessed value down further. Don't take the bait. You can still protest that assessed value even if the market value is higher on that appraisal notice. Subscribe for more helpful real estate content. Here's more real estate how-tos, and you might find this video helpful as well. I'll see you next time.